for Black Girl Magic. It is real. It was so beautiful. I wish you could be there. Transformational. Little girls, 800 of them, were so excited to see empowered women use their voice to inspire. Your legacies, your stories will be told. They'll tell their children about you when they have them, what you did for them when you came. And lastly, we were able to collectively come together and go to an orphanage home. Excuse this error in the name of the orphanage, the Alomi Show Orphanage. I'm not saying it proper, but that's okay. We went. It was a home of disabled children. And what I found that was so beautiful is that we got to experience joy with them. And we gave provisions, but that was actually the least important that we gave. The most important was joy, happiness, laughter. And we went last year. This is our second year back here in Nigeria. And I had one of the children. I said, do you remember me? She said, yes, I remember you. I said, what do you remember? She said, you gave us items, and you played with us, and you made us happy. That was beautiful. That resonated with me. And I said, you know what? You made me happy too. That is what it's about. You don't have to be a millionaire to give. You don't even have to be a thousandaire. You could actually have a negative bank account and still give. You can still serve. Give joy. Give laughter. Give peace. Whatever you can give. We have to have a spirit of giving. That is how you change the world. So I am thankful. This is us. This is us. This is what we've been able to do all week. This is just a glimpse, just a fraction of what happens when beautiful, amazing, strong warrior women come together and say yes to their intuition, which is the Holy Spirit. So again, I want to thank you for today. Thank you for being here. You're going to see a host of amazing Black women showcase their power, share their stories, and then wonderful, amazing women who are going to be bold enough to share about their business. So yeah, I'm excited. Let's go ahead and get this show on the road. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nancy. Please, a round of applause for Nancy, the amazing woman who ignited the Black girl power magic in our heads and has driven us all crazy. And we are happy that she's driving that vision. And like she said, God is raising Deborahs. But it's not just about raising you. It's, are you able to answer the call and stand? The Bible says, and after all is done, do stand. I feel that that is where community is important, and that is why it is beautiful that we are here together so that we can draw on each other's energy and stand. Thank you. So bringing to this microphone a woman that, if you look at her container, you might not be able to get the best of her, because you cannot by any means with your human mind comprehend that she carries what she carries. And I think that God is so wise when he says it's the glory of God to conceal a matter and it's the honor of kings to search it out. I tell you for free, that is this woman. Because when you meet her, it takes another level of knowledge to discover her. And it doesn't take time. So right now, in our journey of discovery, some of us have not seen her before or heard her speak before. But tonight, she's our keynote speaker. She's an economic growth and development consultant who is passionate about rebuilding the African economy through entrepreneurship, youth employment, education, and trade. For the purpose of this introduction, I will stop here. But when she takes the mic, I will leave you to introduce her to yourself the way you want. Ladies and gentlemen, if your hands are not busy, please put it together for just Omomo Ibe. Please keep clapping. Good evening, ma.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I stand on existing protocol and I say a very huge good evening to the fantastic men who are seated here today supporting us women. We want to see this consistently across every cadre of society. As she has rightly introduced, my name is Just Ibe, and before I proceed, I'd like to give again honor to whom honor is due. Nancy Arabaye, thank you for having us here today. Today I have titled the keynote I'm going to be rendering, Woman, Arise and Shine. And I want you to say this to yourself if you're a woman in this room. Woman, arise and shine. Do you want to say that to yourself? Woman, arise and shine. And I'm going to be speaking today, talking about the story of a popular African woman called Ashake. Now, it's not the Asake you know, that is Ashake. Ashake is a mother of 4 children, married to her husband in a remote area in Lagos State. Ashake wakes up at 4 a.m. daily, and she's the popular akara seller on the street. Akara is called bean cake, for those of you who don't know. And in Lagos, Nigeria, they use akara and bread. You know, they divide bread into 2, and then they arrange akara nicely in between as good breakfast for those of us who live in Lagos. And so Ashake wakes up at 4 a.m. She prepares the beans that is used for the akara. She cleans it up and then prepares it to be grinded. While she's doing that, she is also preparing the meal her children will take to school once they wake up. While she's doing that, she's also making sure her husband is sorted once he wakes up to go to work. And by 6 a.m., all is set for the day. Ashake has grinded her bean cake puree and is set by the side of the road to start frying with hot oil. And she's anticipating her customers on a daily basis. Now, this is one part of Ashake. Aside from Ashake being an industrious businesswoman or an industrious entrepreneur, like you may call it, she's also a woman who is in a trade association where at the end of every day, she will take a certain part of her proceeds from sales and put in a particular purse for that association. And every week, Ashake will make herself available to be in that meeting, that association meeting, and she will actively give her contributions so that the society can move forward from their association. Ashake doesn't stop there. Ashake, every time she finds a street beggar who she thinks needs a home, she's willing to go speak to her husband. Can we take this person and just help them? And sometimes the struggle is, how do we feed an extra child when we have our 4 we haven't sorted? And the next point of thought is, at least this new child who don't have a home can join me in cooking or frying my bean cake, and whatever we make from that can be support to that child. And so despite Ashake's physical constraint, she never stops extending herself to be a source of good to others around herself. In that society where Ashake belongs to, the association, Ashake is the leading voice because everybody wants to hear Ashake's contributions. She's constantly showing up and being there for everybody. Who is Ashake? Ashake is me. Ashake is you. Ashake is that woman who has 4 things, and we're going to be speaking to those 4 things: a voice, a message, a product, and a tribe. What is your voice? How are you using your voice on a daily basis? God gave you a voice because in the absence of that voice, somebody is going to suffer. God gave you a voice because in the absence of that voice, a void will be created in a society that will linger for so long. We will keep blaming a particular person for that particular problem lingering. And I say this because we live in a society, in Nigeria as a case study, where and I'm not absorbing them if you ask me. How be it, there are millions of Ashakes whose voices will be needed to move the needy closer in our country and in every community on the face of the earth. And those Ashakes are seated here. They are seated across the globe watching us today. And so I ask again, with your voice, in your community, in your organization, in that local church where you attend, how are you deliberately using this voice to move people closer to their own dreams while deliberately moving yours closer to your own dreams? Because your voice will not be useful if you are not using the voice for yourself. And when I say using the voice for yourself, I'm speaking to empowering yourself with your voice before you can empower others with your voice. There's so many women who, because of their circumstances, have told themselves several reasons, and I call them lies, while they cannot move from where they are to where they should be. If your voice is disempowering to you, it will be difficult for you to be an Ashake whose voice is listened to in the society. And dear woman, when I say arise and shine, I'm speaking to consistently taking over the voice inside you, telling you what you cannot and cannot do consistently, and continue to tell the voice, you don't pick for me, I pick for myself. You don't tell me what to do, I tell myself what to do. And you take that power back right from within and consistently instruct yourself aright, because there are millions of children waiting for you, Ashake, to take them on. That being said, your voice. The next is your message. Now that you have identified your voice, how do you move that voice into a message consistently that will be identified and reckoned with in the society? Like Ashake, she's in her local association where every time there's a meeting and they want a solution, where is Mama Ashake? She's the first person they want to hear, because she knew she has a voice and she has consistently used that voice as a message of hope, as a message of solution to the people around her. What is the message that you carry? And how many lies have you told to yourself to not express that message consistently, even in your immediate circle, let alone in the community at large? What is that message? The message can be as simple as don't give up. It can be as simple as that. There are no clear-cut protocols as to what kind of message you should speak and not speak. Remember, none of us have the same voice, the same message. We still need it, because 1 million people cannot possibly cover the 8 billion. So this particular thing speaks to the fact that you should kill that voice that tells you, Joyce is doing that, why do I need to do that? Because there are 8 billion people. And the 8 billion people may not all listen to Joyce, but they need somebody else who is another beautiful Ashake that they can listen to. And so, from today henceforth, begin to articulate whatever message you carry. It may be one word. That one word does not need to be validated by any and everybody. As long as you believe it in your heart, begin to speak that message, because there are 8 billion people who need to hear that message. The third thing is your product. Ashake has a product. She sells akara. And her akara is to a way ending the food crisis in the society. You see, as women, one of the things we must learn to articulate appropriately is our value. Ashake may not understand where she is, how her product is ending food crisis. She may not understand, because the standard of living is consistently increasing in Africa. And I think it's the whole world, it's not just Africa. And there are people who will Ashake's bean cake and bread. It can fill their stomach for the whole day and they won't go hungry. What she's doing is adding to the value of the statistics of people who are reducing the food scarcity in the nation. Ashake may not be able to articulate it powerfully, but you are seated here with some level of education and you have a product. You must be able to articulate clearly how my product increases a social. Begin to articulate that appropriately. The world may not take us seriously, because what we do is not just good. It is social good that moves the needle or moves the society closer towards something positive within the context of our societies. And so your product, aside from being a means to collecting, money in exchange for value, must also be articulated in a way that we are collectively making good within the context of our society. The final cadre, your tribe. We are as impactful as the societies will find ourselves. You going alone, you may not go as far. But going with others, you may go farther, and your impact may be stronger. And I think the example for this does not need to stretch far. We are in this room because of tribes, because of communities that we're trying to build. And see the impact we've been able to create by just being here together. Nancy cited some of those things. As a women, because we live in a seeming patriarchal society, I use the word seeming because I don't like to accept it, even if it's true. I like to think that the lens with which you look and interpret things matters a lot. If I'm quick to interpret things through the lens of what it seems like, my options may be limited. Right? And that's not denial. I just don't like to accept it. And because I don't accept it, I don't go into any male-dominated society thinking of patriarchy. I don't do that. Do you see what I mean? That being said, as women, we must take very importantly our tribes and our communities, because together we can build formidable change solutions. Together we can create unstoppable men and women. Together we can transform our world. I believe that for the longest time, the world has consistently moved on a steady decline because God kept the best for the last. That's my personal opinion. That God saved you, woman, as the best for a time such as this. And so for every woman who is listening here, I want you to say this: I am a mighty wind of change. That's too weak for me. Let me come towards Nancy. I am a mighty wind of change. I am a fresh breath of air. My world has waited for me up until today because I am it. I am it. I am it. And every day, I will use my voice, I will use my message, I will use my products, I will leverage my tribe to create change in the society. So therefore, woman, arise and shine.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mrs. Just. Thank you so much. Now you understand why I introduced her the way I did. And like she said, in a tribe, we are much more powerful. You know, whilst she was speaking, I just began to remember the events of Monday and Tuesday, the International Day of the Girl Child, and our Clothe the Streets program at Street Aid Africa Foundation. By the special grace of God, I own an NGO for street-connected children. We take them from streets, we send them to schools on scholarship. And that passion was born because I was once a street-connected child. So right now, while Just was speaking, I was just thinking, what if there was no Nancy Obwe for those children? Where would Nancy Arabaye see someone who is doing the grassroots community work to take her message, her fire to? How are we going to, in 2022, how are we going to do that? It wouldn't have been possible. But guess what? She came with a fire, and she met a soldier on the field running, and both of us ran. And it now became very, very clear that one will chase 1,000, but two, and God will have not started. So thank you so much for taking up that mantle. Thank you for bringing everyone in this room together. And everyone in this room, thank you for answering the call on your life. Thank you for stepping into your purpose, your vision. Thank you for aligning. Please celebrate yourselves once more. A round of applause, please. Thank you. Bringing here another woman that Nancy holds in such high dignity. She's spoken so highly of you. And I just want people to hear you and experience the awesome person that you are. Ladies and gentlemen, if your hands are not busy, please put it together as I bring to this microphone Ngozi Nwabweze. Please keep clapping until she gets here. We are gonna see different shades of awesome women, because when black girls come together, miracles happen. You are welcome, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody. It's going to be a little bit of a story, because there's no way I can stand here and not tell my story. Last year, at the first expo, I was here as I pitched, and yes, we didn't win. Well, we didn't win. But something magical happened. 2 judges believed in what we were doing as a company, and they called me aside. And they told me they were going to each split the prize money into 2, and they were going to give it to us. And I was like, okay, what a way to win. You know, so for me, I think that was, it was a nice end to the story, right? And then they did. That's Mr. Jiwon sitting right there. Hello, my investor. And Miss Jenny Nwoko, unfortunately, she's not here. And the truth is this, when that money came, right, we were at a point, okay, first and foremost, let me introduce myself. I went straight into the story. So my name is Ngozi Nwabweze, and I'm the CEO, principal partner, founder, Pocket Lawyers. Pocket Lawyers, lawyer of 12 years. I was called to about 12 years ago. And Pocket Lawyers basically is a legal tech startup that offers affordable legal solutions to SMEs and to startups. So we looked at the space and we realized that a lot of firms, law firms, were tending only towards the big boys, and they were leaving the small guys out of it, forgetting that these guys make up a larger mass of, you know, the country's GDP at the end of the day, and they were the largest employers of labor. And then we are like, okay, if nobody is turning to these guys, how do they become the big corporations of tomorrow without, you know, that legal structure and backing? So I said, okay, you know what? I'm a carve a niche for myself. This person speaking to you was called to the bar, and she borrowed a wig and gown to go to her call to the bar because she believed she was never going to practice law. I bungled my master's LLM, story for another day, because I thought I was never going to need it. And here I am leading a legal tech startup in that space. So I came and we pitched, like I said, I didn't win. And then when that money came, we were stuck on our build. Building technology is very expensive. It's difficult and it's expensive. And it's even, in our case, let me say it was even worse, because what we are currently building is something that is not in existence, at least to my knowledge. What we are building is a platform that not just connects lawyers to the clients, but it is an end-to-end ecosystem where everything happens on the platform. So this is how it works. You come on there, you connect with a lawyer, the interaction happens on there. Eventually, as time goes on, we want it to be a fully virtual law firm. Everything you can do in a physical brick-and-mortar law firm, you can do on the platform. So when this money came, of course, we were stuck. And you know now, when you are building and then you have a family, you have this, you have so many places money is going into. And then that money came, and I'm like, okay, hey guys, okay, let's move. And then we're able to, you know, scale and get to the next level. Currently, as I speak to you, Pocket Lawyers platform, we currently have 19 lawyers signed up who are raring to go. Every day I keep getting calls, when are we coming on, when I'm coming? I say, you know what, guys, calm down. Because we keep, this is the 3rd time we're reiterating the platform. Even after launch, we had a beta testing where we got some feedback from some users, so we're still working on it, right? And currently, even despite the fact that, you know, the platform is not fully optimized, we currently have, I think I recently employed 4 staff, so in total we have about 6 in-house, and we have 1 in-house counsel, in short. You know, and that is minus the 19 that are in the, and that is minus the other lawyers that I do stuff with. because there's too much work. There's too much work. And okay, let me just go back a little bit. A lot of partnerships have been coming on the table. We recently signed a partnership with a startup studio, which is like an accelerator, to help provide legal services to its portfolio companies, and there are 13 of them. So that's one. Currently, we have, counting, minus that, we have 8 retainers, people that are, taking our services. That's minus the guys we offer one-on-one, advisory and all of those things. So it's really growing. And anybody that I tell what it is we're doing and they use the service, they're like, oh my God, this is what we did not know that we needed, right? So I remember I also pitched recently, and the investor lady asked me, she said, okay, so how are you going to get lawyers on the platform? I said, Ma, I'm literally the one holding the door, because, the story is this, and this is a narrative that has gone on for too long. Lawyers are poorly paid, especially young lawyers, right? So I was once in their shoes. What we're creating basically is a solution to the problem that I wish I had, right? So every year we go for the MBA conference, the Young Lawyers Forum, more than half the times they're talking about how they are poorly paid by their seniors and all of those things. So I thought to myself, there has to be something. I was a nursing mom at home, and I wasn't able to earn an income because I couldn't go to the 4 walls of a law firm. Why is that? There needs to be a change. There needs to be the ability for you to be wherever it is you are and offer service. I could be working somewhere and then I can still, do this on the side. So for me, it's a two-edged sword, right? From the legal standpoint, for us to be able to have an opportunity to be able to do more. And also for the businesses, for them to be able to have the solution they so desperately need. In short, the way I work with my clients is very personal. There are people who want to use these services, but so grateful, and they are so happy. So there's just so much I'm learning on the journey. It's been amazing. It's stressful. It's strenuous. I'm awake at 2 a.m. It's crazy, but I'm loving the journey, because I personally believe that what we are building is the future of how legal services and solutions will be offered the world over. Now imagine you need a lawyer to do something for you, and you have a system that is AI enabled and machine learning enabled, and then by the time you connect with that lawyer gets like a draft of the documents that you need, and in less than 6 hours you're getting the contract. That's where the world is going. Everything is getting faster. Everything is getting, accelerated. That is where Pocket Lawyers as a brand is going. And I'm very grateful to Miss Nancy. She's been, after we won, of course, we were enrolled, and then I remember when you did the social media challenge, right? And you asked us to, go pump our social media. I think that was in January of this year, and that was literally how we started. I employed one person, and now look at where we are. And I remember when I did the videos, and I put, some of the videos in the group, and you were like, okay, go girl. And we're here now, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for us. So thank you so much. That is my small story and my little testimony. And she's like the person who, okay, you know what? You're going to have to tell her how far you've come. So you must make sure that you are doing what you should be doing your toes, because Miss Nancy and Madam Tonya are going to be on your case. So thank you so much for that encouragement. Thank you so much for how far we've come, and we are very, very ecstatic about where the future is going. Thank you guys. Thank you so much.
A round of applause for a living blessing to listen. Just sit back and listen to the progress someone is able to make just because someone else believed in them. And I think it's just been beautiful listening to Ngozi. So if you know Nancy is go girl, yeah, we getting it. Yes, that's Nancy. But then there's the other part that she calls you by 2 a.m. So Nancy, you said we're gonna go to the school on the 11th of October, and we really want to impact 30 girls. Nancy, I haven't seen the names of the 30 girls. We need to impact 30 girls. Nancy, I need to get to 30 girls. Nancy, it must be 30 girls. It has to be 30 girls. And I'm looking at the time. It is 2 a.m. Nigerian time. This woman sleep in Jesus' name. Then Tonya will now come. Tonya will be like, okay, Nancy, I think Nancy understands. So two of us are Nancy. So sometimes I'm like, does she know the particular Nancy she's talking to? But she finds a way to do it. She's like, okay, I think Nancy understands what you're saying. So yeah, so Nancy, just keep us updated. Okay, so when do I come back to you for the update? Wednesday at 11. Okay, so I'm gonna just schedule a call right now. I'll send it to you. Yes, it's in the group now. All right, Nancy, you can sleep. Good night. Sorry. Bye. But guess what? You will do it. You must do it. If you're eating, you are thinking of it because their voices are ringing in your head. And, you know, at that point, sometimes you're like, what did I... See, it's voluntary. It's not by force. What is it for? Please, a round of applause for this community. A round of applause for everyone in this community. I think this night is just for us to celebrate everybody here. So let's pay attention to the screen for a very short video of the magic we did with more than 800 girls at the Jangomolu Girls Senior Grammar School, Bariga, Lagos. On the screen, please. Can we celebrate that impact? You know, this just tries to capture the day. I think at some point, all of us started crying. I remember when Tonya was walking into her class, Tonya was already tearing up. She came into the class and they were screaming. And I looked at her, she was wiping her eyes. I said, okay, we're gonna do this today. Okay, I didn't come with no hankies, but it's fine. And in my own class, it was so beautiful listening to them. And one thing that struck me was their inability to believe that some of us in the group went to schools like this. When we said it, they were shaking their heads. So at that moment, I realized that we were and we still are a living representation that their dreams are valid. But what if we didn't go? I'm having chills again. So I don't know, but if you're in this room, please commit to this mission. There is so much to do. There are so many girls and boys. You see, next year, I'm so pushing the men, all of you on that table. Better get ready for Nancy and Nancy. We are going to push you guys because we'll do it together. Thank you so much once again. And I don't know, this night is just having me in my feelings. But yeah, we're going to move to the panel session, guys. Leave me alone. All right. So I will bring the speakers for the panel discussions first, and I will now introduce the moderator for the panel and hand over the microphone while we have another beautiful discussion on the power of an empowered woman. And ladies and gentlemen, for those of you online who are wondering what's happening, I just saw this link on a friend's status and I just clicked in. You are welcome to her Leadership Expo. Okay, her Leadership Expo. This is a Pan-African leadership conference organized by the Strategic Solutions LLC. This conference is dedicated to bringing voices across the globe, like everyone in this room, to share the stage and advocate for Black women in leadership. So you are not confused or you are wondering exactly where you are. I have gone online and I've seen quite a number of listeners and people following attentively. So you are welcome. And from the comfort of your home, please leave your comments, your questions as we go into the panel discussions. If we don't get to them immediately, we'll eventually get to them. Thank you. So first on the panel this evening would be Bemi Oni, the prolific Bemi Oni. Please, a round of applause as she comes. Yes, please. The first chair, thank you. Followed by Tanika Harper. Tani, baby. Yes, let's have you. Followed by Joycey Awashika. Is Joycey in the building? Please. Thank you. Can I have Chloe Best? A round of applause for Chloe as she comes. Oh yes, Strat Girl. Followed by Chiamaka Ugoji. Chiamaka, please join us here. Okay, so yes, Black Girl Magic. Yeah, we're gonna look like royalty all the time. Yes, please. Oh, okay. Wakanda forever. That's what the outfit says. Bring it now. Love her troubles. That is actually wearing a piece I'm gonna take home tonight after the event. That coach that coaches you to become a coach. Tonya Barnes, please keep clapping until she gets here. Yes, and that's the one and only. Yes, when you see her hair, you know it's not normal. Because you look amazing, you sound amazing, you do amazing things. So I'm leaving this panel with you to take all the amazing questions and for us to hear the amazing discussion. And at the end of the day, please remember, we hear you. Yes, you don't need to force us today. Anything you say here, we'll do it. Tonya, I promise you. So I'm handing the mic in peace now. Tonya, in peace. Thank you.
Can we give Nancy a round of applause? Be here with you, extraordinary women tonight. We are here to talk about empowerment. And so I have some questions for each of you, and I'll start with Tanika. Out. I'll pass the mic. Yes.
Hello, everyone. I am Tanika Harper. I am from Tennessee, in the States. As Tanya stated, I own 4 businesses, 2 of them being for-profit, 2 of them being non-profit. The first